Hey everyone! Version 6.2 is coming in just a few days, and if you're waiting for this update, you've probably been staring at your primogem count wondering if it's really enough to get Durin or Venti. So in this video, we're going to answer exactly that question. We'll go through all the primogem sources you can get in Phase 1, add everything up, and see how many pulls that actually gives you in practice. Save up to 25% on Genesis crystals at lootbar.gg. You can grab all in one pack and the 6,480 Genesis crystal pack, normally $100 in-game, for just $72 on Lootbar. That's 81 pulls, almost guaranteeing you a 5-star for your account while saving you $28. The process is super simple. Just enter your UID, select your server, and receive your crystals in under a minute. No password needed. Lootbar uses official recharge channels, has hundreds of 5-star reviews, and partnerships with several big content creators that you probably know, so everything is completely safe. Lootbar supports PlayStation 5 and Xbox top-ups. Also, don't forget that the double bonus for your first purchase on each pack has been reset. Click the link in the description to claim your extra discount. New users get an extra 10% discount, while returning users get 5%. Starting with the basics, daily commissions are still your guaranteed income as always. If you log in every day, do all 4 commissions and collect the reward from Catherine, that's 1,260 primogems throughout Phase 1. It doesn't seem like much day to day, but by the end of the period, it's one of your biggest primogem sources. On top of that, the main story content arriving in Phase 1 gives roughly 590 primogems and 2 intertwined fates. If you convert those 2 pulls into primogems, that's another 320. So that story quest alone is worth around 910 primogems total. Now let's talk about endgame modes. Stygian Onslaught is back, and if you clear all the primogem stages, you get 450 primogems. It might look intimidating when you first enter, but those early stages are pretty easy. After that comes good old Spiral Abyss. The next reset is on December 15th, and if you get all 36 stars, that's another 800 primogems guaranteed. Each floor gives 200 gems, so even if you can't make it to floor 12, you still get a decent amount. Technically, there's no Imaginarium Theater reset or Paimon shop reset within the Phase 1 window, but both resets happen today, just a few days before 6.2 starts. If you count that, we'd be looking at around 1,800 extra primos, but we won't include that total in this video. There's also no new permanent map in version 6.2, so no exploration primogems. The good news is that 6.3 comes with a new area, so those rewards will help with the future Columbina banner. They just won't help with Durin right now. Outside the main quest, there are still smaller quests arriving on Phase 1 launch day that give around 270 primogems. We'll also have new achievements worth about 55 primogems. Not a huge number, but it's just extra because you earn them by playing normally day to day. Now let's talk about events. First comes the Bing Bang Finball event, which should arrive in the first few days of the update and gives 420 primogems if you complete all challenges. Then there's the big Christmas event, but here's an important detail. Only part of it falls within Phase 1. The portion you can get during the first half is worth around 500 primogems, while the rest, about 620, stays in Phase 2 and doesn't count here. Also, when the update goes live, everyone receives 600 primogems in the mail as maintenance compensation, and that's always a welcome bonus on day 1. The codes this time are a bit more complicated, since the special program for this version doesn't fall within the Phase 1 period. You can't count on those 3 classic 100 primo codes during this window. They should appear in the second half of Phase 2. Even so, it's reasonable to expect at least 1 regular 60 primo code showing up during the version. Alright, let's get to the final numbers. Adding up all the free sources we mentioned, you get around 5,265 primogems in Phase 1. Since each pull costs 160 primos, that's about 32 wishes. It's an okay amount, but it's far from guaranteeing a 5-star if you're starting from 0 pity and still need to win the 50-50. If you also have the blessing of the Welkin Moon active during the entire phase, that adds another 1,890 primogems on top of that amount. Combined with the previous primogems, that's around 44 pulls. To be completely honest, Phase 1 is pretty average in terms of gem amounts, and the timing doesn't help much. You basically miss the Paimon shop reset, miss the Imaginarium Theater reset, there's no new map to explore in 6.2, so no chest marathon, and the big Christmas event is still split between the 2 phases, with half the primos falling outside Durin's banner window. If all these things were inside Phase 1, we'd easily be talking about over 60 pulls with Blessing. instead of being stuck around 46. But that's the reality of this patch. And they're probably doing this because version 6.3 brings Columbina's banner and the Lantern Rite event. So it'll be a really important patch and should have much more primogems for free-to-play players. Anyway, that's it for today's video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.